Folks, so this is another one, blast from the past. Usagi Yojimbo, and I probably pronounced that wrong, but there it is. The Usagi Yojimbo Saga. All right, so this is from Dark Horse, where they went ahead and they just collated the entire Haken Saga together for you to enjoy. We were talking like 600 pages of stuff, right? And it's beautiful. You can kind of see how all this stuff fits together. And, hey, if you have to have a rabbit who's a Ronin, you might as well just go ahead and enjoy the entire storyline and go along with what all is there, right? But it is, again, an amazing amount of just how this whole character came about. It collects some of the really hard to find first comic books that are just really hard to find, or you pay some crazy premium online just to find these, or if you get lucky, you can find them in the dollar bin at a used bookstore or at half-price books. But again, it's just kind of neat. It introduces all the characters. It tells you what's going on. It gives you a good background to kind of figure out, here's how we're doing it. Here's where we go. And it kind of covers how that whole samurai culture came about and how way cool it was back then to be a samurai and otherwise approach the whole process. And again, it's all anthropomorphic, so you kind of get an idea on how, that whole idea between being a Ronin, not being a Ronin, being a samurai in service of a master, and then not being in service of a master, and how this whole works. And the rabbit kicks some butt, right? Seriously. So we're wandering alone, we're across the nation, we're a rabbit, we're one of the best samurais ever invented, and the storyline keeps on going, right? And it does. It just kind of starts in, gives you a little bit of back storyline, back processes on why this is important, and all the rest of it. So this is one of those really good comic books that if you have an 8, 9, 10-year-old that is at that point in their life where they're trying to identify or otherwise, this is a good place to start, right? Just give them a big plunking down 600-page book on the table, and then here you go, right? Let's hope they get into sequential art. I'm a big fan of introducing comic books to kids, and I think that there are decidedly some good comic books out there for kids that are just kind of neat and will appeal to boys and girls depending on the personality of that boy or girl. And this is one of those comic books that I think really does appeal along the way to a lot of different audiences. There's something in here to love for everybody, especially if they're into that whole fantasy kind of Japanese history, Japanese culture. It's a good place to start. I mean, admit it, it's in English. There's a lot of neat things going on here. It's a very Americanized comic book. But dude, man, you don't get better than this. If you want to introduce the kids to a comic book and you want to introduce them to sequential art, Usagi Yojimbo is decidedly one of those comic books that you definitely want to go out and get, right? So the whole big Volume 1 trade paperback, again, is a 600-page samurai action and adventure story. This is an award-winning comic book. Its writer is Stan Sakai. Everything's done by him. This is decidedly an action-adventure comic book. If you get lucky, there's a limited edition hardcover that's actually signed, and I bet you that's going to be a pretty penny along the way. So definitely go ahead and either get the digital edition or just go ahead and get the print copy. I mean, I prefer the print copy. It's a lot more easy going on kids. It's something to handle, especially if they're anything like my kids. They're very tactile in what they do. So I'm more of a big fan of buying kids books so they've got something to hold on to instead of just some text on a digital screen. Also, it kind of teaches them how to read. So this is a good place to start. Right, I really enjoyed this comic book. I enjoyed this comic book as a young adult, and now that I've got little ones running around, I'm really excited about what I can introduce to them in terms of comic books. And we're turning comic books into evening reading time, and this is one of those really good comic books because it is such fantasy and adventure that the kids are like identifying with the characters, and it's kind of neat when you see the little kid running around and showing us her Chuck Norris kick because she's reading these kinds of things, and it's a good thing to see. Definitely worth picking up, definitely worth the bucks you're going to spend on it, definitely worth getting it for the kids, whether it's a holiday gift or a birthday gift or just because the kid's actually doing good and they're actually doing their chores around the house. I definitely recommend that you do get this comic book. It is well worth your time, and it is huge, and it's meaty, and it's got a lot of neat things in here, and even if they put it down at first, they'll come back to it maybe in a year or two. It's still well worth trying to find. Again, this is on YouTube, so you got to do the like, the comment, the subscribe, the viewing, and all that other kind of good stuff to go along with it, because we're still in our starting phase of our channel. By the time someone actually gets this and actually looks at it, besides my mom and myself, I may not be there, but definitely do that subscribe, like, and comment, and upvote, and all the rest of it, and we'll be in pretty good shape. Again, thanks much from Comics Forge, and y'all have a great day.